So back in January, I filmed a sort of typical workday for me, and it's been 10 months and I still haven't done anything with that footage. So today I thought that I would film another day and sort of combine the two. So in that time, we've actually moved across the country, so the background is going to look a little bit different between the two, but I am still working on the same project, which is my book. It's a capsule wardrobe sewing book with historically inspired clothing patterns. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump back to January. So for a job that's theoretically very creative, there's really quite a lot of emails and admin and general computer stuff involved. So this morning I've spent some time sending emails to the companies that I'm working with for printing for the project. So the one that's printing the physical sewing patterns as well as the one that's printing the books. Basically, I just wanted to talk about samples and about colors because I have a specific color palette that I'm using across the whole project, and I'm getting to the stage where it would be really useful to have some physical samples of those colors to make sure that it matches across all the different elements. So now that that's done, I'm going to move on to working on the custom fabric for the project. This is something that I'm doing together with Laura of Tolton Art. I'll link all her stuff below. She's drawing the whole thing. So what I'm doing today is I'm just having a look at the scale, and I'm going to do that by superimposing the pattern that this fabric is going to be used for on top of the line art that she sent me, and sort of hopefully make some decisions that way for how big everything needs to be. Right, so we've decided on a scale for the fabric, which is great because it means that Laura can start adding in all the final detail and everything and getting the design more finalized, which means we're one step closer to getting this fabric printed, which is great. So now it's around 1:30 now, a bit past. So I'm gonna quickly tidy up all the fabric that I got out to compare the scale to, and then I'll have a quick lunch break and catch up with you after. lunch, I sat down and checked my emails again, and then ended up spending a bunch more time doing emails because that's just how it goes. But I did hear back from both of the printers, so the book printer and the pattern envelope printer, and it sounds like they'll both be able to do a sample for me so that I can check the colors and make sure everything matches, which is great news. The not so great news is it is now 4, it's getting dark outside, and I feel like the day's kind of gotten away from me because I spent so much time doing emails today, but it's just how it goes. So what I'm going to do next is sit down and flip through the notebook that I keep for this project. This notebook is nearly full. I think I've got 1 or 2 pages left. So I just want to look and see which information I need to transfer to the new notebook. Obviously I'll be able to reference the old one still, but things like size chart, for example, I'd really like to have a copy on hand. It is just about the end of the day, and I'm working on compiling the feedback from my most recent round of pattern testing. So when a round of pattern testing ends, I ask that the people who took part fill out a form, which just means that all of the feedback is all in one place. So what I'm doing now is I'm just reading through that feedback and I'm typing up all of my thoughts and responses to that. That will then get sent back to the pattern testers so that they can see how their feedback impacted the final pattern. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to send this tonight because I do still need to put together a quick diagram to just illustrate one of the steps, but I've done the hard bit, so I'm counting it as a win. And that brings us to the end of the day. So I'm not actually sure exactly what I'm going to be working on today, so I'm going to start by writing a to-do list with some ideas, but generally I've been working on one of the 1830s inspired patterns, a wrap dress, and I did a second full-scale bodice mock-up for it yesterday. I've also been working on half-scale mock-ups. There's one behind me. And I'm probably going to start by trying that back on and taking some photos, videos, taking some notes, generally seeing how it fits and how I want to go from there. So I was working on adjusting the bodice pattern after the little fitting that I did this morning, and I got a little bit sidetracked. Basically, I decided that I wanted to do another mock-up, a wearable mock-up, and then I figured, you know, I might as well do a mock-up of the skirt as well if I'm gonna do that. But I hadn't drafted the skirt yet. So basically that's what happened. I will show you what that all looks like. So this is my skirt draft. Basically it's part of a circle. It might change a little bit before the end. The yardages, I hasten to add, I'm about to show you the yardage layout tests that I did. That will probably change before the pattern's done, so if you're interested in the final pattern that comes out at the end of this, that will have yardages on it. Please don't use this to buy fabric. So basically I've got a back panel, which is this smaller one, and this larger panel is the front panel because it wraps closed in the front. The smaller piece here is just half of that basically, so I might split the front into two pieces so that it uses less fabric. So this is what my yardage planning looks like. There's a couple of different versions on here. That's just because I'm planning two different things. So the wearable mock-up that I want to make, I'd like to make the bodice and the skirt a different color because this pattern is separate. It's meant to be worn, you know, you can wear it together or you can wear just the top or just the skirt. So I want to make one where they're in different colors just to make that really clear. So I did planning for that. I need about 1.5 meters for the bodice and I need about 3 meters for the skirt. And then I went ahead and had a look at the fabric that I already bought for the sample that I'm making for the book. Now that I have a better idea of the pattern, just to see whether I have enough fabric. And I don't, so I'm going to order another meter of that as well. Yeah, so I'm going to have my lunch now. It's a bit late for lunch, really, but so I sat down and suddenly realized just how tired I was. So it's been like 1.5 hours and it's a bit past 5 now. So realistically, I'm not going to get much more done today. I did get up around 7:30 this morning, so I'm gonna hit my limit soon. But I'm gonna have a sit. I'm going to have another coffee. And I thought that I would actually show you some of the samples that I talked about in the footage that I filmed in January, because that's been, I mean, it was 10 months ago, so a lot of what I was working on at that point is done. So I have samples from the book printers, which was basically to establish like a baseline for the colors. So this was, a lot of this is all about color matching. So I have my color palette and I had a lot of different versions of that I printed out. And this is the paper that the book is going to be printed on. So this is from the book printers on the paper that I'm using, and I'm matching other elements of the project to this. And it's got some illustrations as well, which is exciting. And then I thought I would show you the fabric that Laura designed. So this is it. So I have a couple of different versions of this. Again, I've got a version with different swatches to match as well. But that is what the final thing's going to look like. I actually still haven't ordered that. It just keeps, because I'm not ready to sew the garment that it's made of yet, it just keeps getting pushed in the not urgent pile, but I'm really need to get on that, so I'm hoping I can get that ordered within the next week or so, and then I'll have amazing, beautiful custom fabric to sew one of the garments with. So exciting. It's around 7 now and it's very quickly getting very dark outside, but I have actually finished nearly everything that was on my to-do list for today, with the exception of some of the sleeve stuff, which I'll be doing next week when I make the next mock-up. So I am going to go ahead and call it a day, but I did want to mention that if you're curious about the book and the behind-the-scenes stuff specifically, I know I haven't been posting on YouTube about it, but I have been working on it and I have been posting updates on Kickstarter. So I'll include a link below. It's blog type updates rather than videos, but it is all public to read for anyone, and I think there's nearly 50 or so updates by now. So there's quite a lot of information that I've been putting out there, just not over here. Yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!